Hi, I'm Joanna Barron.
And I'm Leslie Gray.
Welcome to the Love and Dividends podcast, where women get smart about money.
We'll share interviews and conversations about optimizing your finances, getting started with investing, and building wealth.
So, we're recording this on Sunday, May 31st, and we are aware of all of the pain and chaos that has been going on since the murder of George Floyd. And we just want to acknowledge it, the grief that so many people are going through right now, ourselves included.
It's absolutely devastating, and we just didn't want to put out our typical financial podcast without acknowledging it. So this week, it's a lighthearted episode that we recorded, just the two of us, where we tell you a bit about our quarantine experiences. They're very different. One of us is an introvert, one's an extrovert, and how we're sort of using this time to optimize our lives and our finances. And we give you a little preview of Joe's money tips and some money hacks for future gains.
And so, of course, we don't have the answers for any of what's going on in the world, but we want to acknowledge it. And we hope that we can bring a little bit of financial comfort food and insight to your week. Enjoy.
We never left.
We're still inside. We're still indoors, cats.
We're still gazing at each other through a beautiful Zoom video conference, as we like to do.
Yeah. I'm mostly looking at that beautiful plant. Is that an eco-stems that you've got?
This one specifically is not. These were purchased pre-pandemic, but now I'm big on the eco stems, as you know.
Okay,
Love buying
yeah.
more plants. We need more nature inside as we
Yeah.
quarantine, and fresh for your lungs. We need better fresh air, because of course it is a lung-based virus.
And we are indoor cats, so yes.
And we are indoor cats for now. Although
Yeah.
my walk is possibly the most critical part of my day, so.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
But we're stuck inside today with the rain anyway, so.
Yeah. And I have this weird experience lately when I go out walking, because I've started just wearing a mask no matter what, in case I might want to stop in the grocery store, or, now that the weather has, on the whole, been getting a little bit better, parts of even where I live can be a little bit congested. And I noticed that there's a weird thing happening where people who don't wear masks, I kind of look at them like they're shady, and they look at me like I'm shady. So it's just like a mutual suspicion. It's very healthy. It's wonderful. So we just hate each other. It's just like one man for
culture is a thing for sure. I very conscientiously wear the mask whenever I go into a shop, whenever I'm like, which I don't do that often anyway, but anytime I'm somewhere where there could be someone who judges me for no mask, that's the most that I'm wearing the mask. Yeah. But I have to admit, my outdoor walks, I'm often mask free.
Mm.
But I'm 6 feet apart from everyone.
But you live in like the center of downtown, so how do you know that you're always going to be able to stay 6 feet apart?
I mean, yeah, it's not easy. No. It's been a challenge. One day at a time. The struggle is very real.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some money stuff. So how are you doing with money in COVID? What is the good, the bad, and the ugly?
I will tell you, I was chatting with a friend of mine last night, and we were trying to find like all the silver linings of COVID, and I think of this pandemic and of quarantine, especially for those of us fortunate enough to not have been impacted by virus itself or have like health problems. So, big concern. But if you are as privileged enough that the worst thing that's happened to you is that you're sort of inside, you still have a job, then there's a lot of silver linings. And I think one of them for me is it's been a beautiful time to sort of reorganize my space, optimize my space, and a beautiful time to optimize my finances, which is what we want to chat about today. It's a great moment to see what really matters, I think, in life and elsewhere, and to make sure that, I like this saying that every dollar you spend is a vote for the world you want to live in. And so I think it's a nice moment to make sure your spending aligns with what you want, and to find some like cool efficiencies, curbside pickup, etc., all being things that maybe make life a bit easier. So I have probably done more of a deep dive than ever into things like budgets, things like my bank accounts, and just making sure it all aligns with my values and is optimized to be as comfortable as possible during this time.
And has anything actually changed post-pandemic for you?
Well, I mean, my spending's changed completely. Like I love, and I'm very much mourning restaurants and bars and like fun nights out, but I mean, they were expensive and travel and
So then the
trips, like
question
all of
is,
that's gone.
what do you truly like? What do you think will remain in your sort of financial habits post-COVID? Because for me, this has been like a big reflection for me, which I'll get to in a minute.
Yes.
But like the minute things reopen, will you just go back to normal, or have you realized, like I actually don't get that much value out of it?
Well, I think like it'll be a new normal. I think because I sort of had this analysis and broke this down 2 or 3 years ago, I feel really good about spending money on those things in a really deliberate, conscious way. So I
Hmm.
think, yes, I am so primed to go out for a really great meal, go out for a really fun evening out, but just in a really deliberate, really conscious way where you're like getting most bang for your buck. Like I am
Hmm.
so excited to get dressed up. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that night out, but appreciating it as something that is few and far between and really enjoying it as opposed to it just being something you're doing because that's what you've always done.
So less like stopping for a quick takeout or a quick bite, and more like making the meal out like a
Yes,
social
yes.
occasion. Yeah,
Big social.
savoring.
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
craving that social interaction. Yeah, and really savoring it with really good company. Good company
yeah,
might be what makes it the best.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been having some
How about you?
reflections. Yeah, so the sort of big thing I've been thinking about, I mean, obviously when I look at my budget, it's like, yeah, like, no Ubers, no TTC, no restaurants, but like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
groceries like
I
skyrocket.
know.
But
And
but
utilities.
whatever. Yeah, and fair enough. That's fine. But the bigger question for me has been, do I need to live in a big, expensive cosmopolitan city? And I didn't tell
Right.
you this before, I've actually been looking at houses in like Innisfil, Niagara. Because for me, as you know, I
Oh,
recently spent 6 weeks basically in houses in the middle of nowhere, cottages, things like that. And what I found was
Joanna,
that
it looked beautiful. These
it
photos were
was,
stunning for the listeners.
it,
Like it looked gorgeous. Every day she's like, here's my quarantine life. I was like, it's stunning. You live in a
I'm,
magazine. I have them framed. They're like photos for frames that frames are sold for.
I'm such a bitch for doing that, but like
No,
whatever it was.
I loved it. No, I loved it. I was in the
I'm just
appreciation club.
checking my privilege, but just to be clear, there were extenuating circumstances. It was not pure recreation travel. It's a complexity in my personal life that I will not get into, but I totally recognize that non-essential travel is not appropriate during COVID. So there were definitely extenuating circumstances to do with my boyfriend
I
being up
would
here, and yeah,
I wouldn't call it travel. Like you were
yeah,
just outside the city
yeah, yeah,
driving and then you stayed there.
yeah, and then we
I
stayed
wouldn't
home. Yeah.
I think that was a very responsible choice to make and I think you probably were better isolated and quarantined than I was where in this condo building it's impossible not to run into people. I'm finding it's just a new social etiquette of me being like, I'll get the next elevator. I'll
Totally.
like
And I
using my
told
elbow to
you,
touch the buttons.
yeah, right at the beginning, there
Yeah.
was a confirmed case in my building. Now I'm sure
Right.
there's just like dozens and we don't even get notification because it's just like
Oh my
every condo building
God.
in Toronto. So anyways,
Right.
yeah, it didn't
Right.
also feel like the safest place. But anyway, so back to the point is that what I realized is, and this may be like a Stockholm syndrome thing that I've come to peace with it, but so much of the culture and intellectual stimulation that I really value the city for, I can kind of get digitally, virtually, right? Like I'm still in touch
Right.
with my network. I still do online learning. I still can do all of my, I guess, my unique circumstances that I work
Wow.
remotely and I have a fully
Right.
virtual office. So This
Right.
is just something I'm just starting to think about, but there's no question
Whoa.
that if you want to buy a property that's going to appreciate in value, good luck doing that in the GTA because in the
Sure.
Toronto area. So yeah,
Sure.
I've been looking into like, wouldn't it be nice to have like a nice little house on Lake Simcoe in Innisfil, like an
Ah,
hour drive north of the city, or a
I'm
house
down.
in
I support you wholeheartedly in
yeah,
that. I'm
yeah,
coming. We'll record the pod from there.
yeah,
Great. I'm
Niagara, go to
in.
the wineries.
Oh,
Like there, I
sweet.
just like, I had this default mindset of like, I have to be in a big international city because I'm born and raised here. But now that the city is closed, it's just a little different. So who knows? It may be that like once things reopen, I'll be like, oh my God, I can't live without like walking down the street and getting a matcha and then stopping in the bookstore. But I've just learned how happy I can be with just this pared down, simplified life. And that's a good feeling.
We are we are the 2000s popular show of Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie, The Simple Life,
But
if you
yeah,
recall.
I'm leaning into the simple life.
Two girls, both are. You're simple lifing. I like it. I'm
Yeah,
here
well,
for
and
it.
it's just,
I'm
yeah,
here
and you
for it.
think about all of the just like the overscheduling that keeps you busy during
Yes.
normal times where it's like events and dropping in and parties and birthdays and engagement parties and baby showers and it's just like everything's canceled and I have so much more mental energy. It's actually kind of wonderful. And again, yes,
I,
this is part of privilege of being comfortable in my job and in my
of
financial
course.
position, but it's
Yeah.
just been amazing to me how much unnecessary busyness I had in my life.
I am deeply mourning the busyness. I'm missing it. I want that stuff back.
Oh, my poor
I'm,
extrovert friend.
I know, I
I'm
know.
like I'm like
I
never
miss
come back.
distractions.
I don't want
Wow.
plans. I never wanted to go anyways. Thank you for canceling everything indefinitely.
Wow. I genuinely didn't know people felt this way. Yeah, I actually have had a lot of reflection and I want so badly to feel how you feel and be like, I'm ready to leave the city. I love this simple life. And I'm like, I really miss the events and distractions and I miss lots of plans. I'm still in deep mourning for it. But I think it will be different on the other side. And I think again, it's not that I miss just an abundance of random plans. It's all about paring down to the ones that really matter. But for those good, yeah, I miss all the things you just mentioned. For good friends
Yeah,
and good company. As long as it's good
yeah.
company, yeah,
Yeah.
sign
Well,
me
I
up.
do
Bring it
know
back.
from what I've been hearing now that we're going into more than 2 months of quarantine, a lot of people are starting to form like cells of like, these six people agree to only see each other and they're hanging out.
Right,
Like a lot of people are doing that. I even spoke
right.
to one of my besties yesterday who's a gay man who shall not be named, who got a black market haircut. I was like, you are bad.
Oh, scandalous,
But I was also like,
scandalous.
who else is doing that? Where can I consider that?
Totally. And golf courses are opening again is another one,
Yeah,
another social attraction. Yeah.
yeah.
It'll be
So
interesting to
if
see.
yeah, okay. So let's get into some more granular money stuff.
Yes,
So
let.
bank accounts, saving money. What are sort of your tips or discoveries or efficiencies?
I mean, my biggest efficiency that I will tell anyone who will listen, is really just to get a bank account that has no fees. I think they're the worst. And when I say no fees, I mean like no minimum amount you have to keep in a checking or low interest savings account. You should put everything. I personally am a big fan, Tangerine. I know I talked to you about it a lot because you can just do it all online. You can open an unlimited number of accounts. You can essentially use your savings account as a checking account, which is what I do. So all my paychecks go into a savings account. They all get interest from minute one. Everything goes through there and start to like file and organize your money, which sounds like the least sexy thing ever. But having a travel account, if that's what you're interested in, having even just a savings account that you call investing, where you can sort of pile up some money so that when you're ready to use a Questrade or a Wealth Simple, you sort of have whatever you have like $1,000 ready or something more meaningful. And you can just like have it sitting there. So you're like, if I was wrong, if I can't actually invest this money, if I need it a month from now, then it's still in a savings account. It's almost like a like training wheels, I think, where you have an
Hmm.
account that's like your investing account, but it's still just in your bank. And then you just get to test it out and be like, you know what, can I actually put aside whatever it is, $50 a month, $500 a month, or maybe substantially more. So that's sort of my starter tips to investing is to start really, the biggest thing you can do better than finding, I think, the best interest rate or the best whatever is to start saving as much as you can and getting it out of whatever your day-to-day accounts are. Even if it's still in your main bank, it's like having a separate account. Another really good one is Motive Financial. I think they're still given the highest interest rate. And then it's there, it's readily available, but it's not gone. And then as soon as you feel comfortable that you're like, I actually won't need this at least for another year, put it into a tax-free saving, put it into a higher interest, put it into investing. But I think the starting point for everyone is to start saving and putting away as much money as possible and getting so comfortable with that going
Yeah,
forward.
totally.
That's
Okay,
my old school
so
approach.
let's get into background listener. We had recorded a money hacks episode before we even launched the
Yes,
podcast because it's kind of
yes.
my hobby, which is probably the most
Joanna's the best
embarrassing
at it.
thing I'm going to admit publicly that my kink is like cashback apps and weird digital coupons. Like I get like a free saw of excitement when I like find the coupon and save an extra 20%. It's really
You are a
weird.
digital coupon. You are like a new age coupon clipper, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It was at my request that we had Joanna's money hack. I
Yeah,
loved
because I
it.
have so many, but then COVID hit and so many of them are travel and points related. And even I
We
stopped
felt it was in
accumulating
poor
travel points
taste. Yeah. It's
and
not fun to
just,
gloat
just
about
like
how much
not
travel you can do
useful. Yeah, like
and not useful.
what are you going to do with 150,000 airplane points if you can't fly anywhere?
Totally.
Yeah, so these are, and maybe we will redo that in a future date when travel is possible. But
I want
here
to put it
are
out there that we will. Yeah, I want
we
that. I want
will.
to live in a
We
world
will.
where it's necessary. Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so we talked about
So go.
Tangerine. We'll drop a referral code in the show notes where you can get $50 free just for opening an account, and then there's no
Totally.
fees. And we love Tangerine, super user-friendly interface. So we love that. Then if you want to get a little more advanced, often the major banks in Canada will offer very generous bonuses for opening an account. So right now, Scotiabank has an offer. You get $300 in cash if you open a new account. You also have to do a few things like pay a bill, set up a pre-authorized payment, but all of that is explained, and we'll link to that. So uh, I'm currently going through the steps to get that offer. I did it last year with TD. It's super simple. The only catch is in order to not be charged any banking fees on that account, because Scotiabank, unlike Tangerine, does charge fees. You have to have 4 grand minimum in the account, or you could not have that much, and you'd still come out you'd still come out on top with the $300 cash. So you can close at any time. But I'm just as a shameless optimizer, I just dump $4,000 in there as soon as I open it. Um,
Yeah, that's a sick return. That's actually pretty
yeah,
sweet. $300 on 4,000 is like
yeah,
a really high
yeah,
return.
yeah, exactly. So then we have our cashback app. So for the longest time, I thought these things were a scam, but they're not. They're legit. So the big player is Rakuten, aka
Yeah,
Ebates. So how this works, and it's relevant now when all the shopping we're doing is mostly online. If you're shopping, you just click through Rakuten's website and they give you a cashback on whatever you buy. So it could be 1% or 2%, but sometimes like this weekend, Lululemon was 10% cash back.
that,
And then they pay you out by PayPal transfer quarterly. So I just got my cash back. It was like $55 and it's just like free money, right? So we'll post a referral link where I think you can get an extra $10 just for signing up. So that's the big one. There's also a new one called Amply that's pretty good, although it has a lot of restaurant cashback offers, which are not that relevant right now. Checkout 51. That is a digital app for grocery store coupons. So sometimes you can get like $2
That.
back on a yogurt or whatever. Again, these are like, you're not going to get rich, but it's just, extra cash. It's
I love
kind of
it.
like it's a gamified thing for me. Paytm is an app that I use to pay all my bills, and you get points, which you can then convert into Amazon gift cards, Starbucks gift cards. Love Paytm, so I pay like my property tax bill, all my utilities, which you have to do anyway. So why not get a free $10 Starbucks card for doing it? And this is a fun one. So this I only found about because I have joined TikTok. I think I mentioned this to Leslie.
Oh
I'm really
no,
into
this is,
TikTok.
are you? I
It's
know it's so embarrassing when we find out millennials are joining TikTok. What the metaphor I've heard, because that younger generation is into it. They're apparently the Gen Z Zoomers.
yeah.
They're really good at it. Now millennials are getting into it, and people say it's like when the baby boomers join Facebook and like your aunt is like posting all these comments, like we're like that. We're that embarrassed. But I'm here for it, Joanna. I want to see your TikTok videos. I support you
Well,
wholeheartedly in this endeavor.
yeah, yeah. I've learned so much from TikTok. Like Zoomers have like
Yeah.
they have a whole vocabulary. They have this. Do you know what this means? This
No, I don't
I'm
know what
showing you
that
on
means.
video. So when you stick your
This looks
index fingers
very
together,
disturbing. It
it
looks,
means it means I'm shy. In Zoomer speak, like you do that, you're like shy. Like oh wait,
hi.
what? I don't know. It's
That
a
feels
thing
like
they
an
do.
oxymoron to post a video of yourself with a dance move in it that says I'm shy, to post a video to the world. That's like us on this podcast being like, we're very shy. Don't
And
listen. Don't
do
listen.
we
Please
do we know
listen.
what a Karen is?
No, what's a
Have you
Karen?
Oh, so
No,
this has hit the
Joanna.
mainstream. I actually saw a group of kids in the park, or like 19-year-olds talking about Karens, and I was like, "Oh, so it's not just like a thing on the internet." So a
What is
Karen
it?
is a Gen X woman, so it's a middle-aged woman who's annoying and generally does things like complain to management when they work at a shop or
Oh
a
yeah,
movie
I have
theater.
heard
Like,
that. I have heard
yeah,
that.
so it's just like, don't be a
It's like
Karen.
someone called yeah, yeah, Karen calls for a manager. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, anyways, but I saw one of these Zoomers posted a TikTok video showing them scrolling through their Canada Revenue Agency account and showing at the bottom that they had uncashed checks from like years ago. And so I went into mine. I was like, there's for sure going to be nothing, but there was. I had like over $200. So I will like post a screenshot on a blog or something where you can go. And particularly if you are like me and you've moved around a lot for universities or whatever, probably one of my tax refunds got mailed to my mom's house, like when I was in university. So anyway, so I recently just got a direct deposit from the CRA for money that ironically I would have like much more needed when I was a college student, but still happy
Right.
to get it now. That's kind of how that
Yeah.
stuff goes.
CRA direct deposit for Canadians who file with CRA is critical. Game changer.
Yes.
And
Yes.
again, you can use your savings account. Pop it right in. Love it.
Yeah. So then last two things. First is
Yeah.
sell your stuff online. It's spring in Canada,
Yes.
and Poshmark is now in Canada, and raid
Yes.
your closet. I'll post this awesome blog post from this finance blogger called Luke Strategist about how to stage your clothes, how to shoot your clothes in the best lighting so that you can get more money for them
Amazing.
on Poshmark
Amazing.
or on eBay. And so yeah, I mean everybody has some pieces that they could get rid of and you can make money off of them. Um, it's on my
Again,
list of things to do.
in the
Yeah,
minimalist theme, now is a perfect time to clean out your wardrobe and have a Poshmark account. I have actually used that before and it's great.
it's
I have a lot of
great.
good things to
Yeah.
say about it. I have used it many a time to clear out stuff. And it's nice. It's like a two for in that it's always nice to get some money, but I think for me it's more that I put on it my pieces that I'm like, I actually want someone to like have this and enjoy it. It's still in really
Yeah.
good quality. I just never wear it. It's all those pieces you bought and you feel guilty that you don't ever wear. And every time you put it on to wear, you're like, ugh, it just doesn't really look good or fit
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
it's for that because then when someone buys it from you, you're like, oh, well, I'm guaranteeing that someone is going to get really good use out of it, as opposed to giving it away where you're like, who knows if this will just fall to the bottom of the barrel. and never get worn. At least for me mentally, it's not so much about the money you get for it, but the fact that you're like, someone is going to really cherish this item and get to use it in a way I never would have. So
Yeah,
I'm a big
totally.
fan.
Totally.
And also very green initiative, like more reusing stuff, more, it more encourages us to buy high quality pieces, than sort of the fast fashion, not so eco-friendly, not so socially responsible clothing.
For real. And then the last one, which I think might be an episode onto its own, but I'll just mention it, is that, like I say, with life being more streamlined and pared down, I have more energy for working on my side hustles, which,
Yes.
if you're a millennial and you don't have a side hustle, like, what are you even doing? Anyways, so the sort of fun story for me in this, besides starting a podcast, is that
Woo-hoo.
my other side hustle is that I teach yoga part time. And obviously the studio's been closed down for the last few months. And I thought, okay, that's just a source of revenue. That's just not going to happen the next while. But I've been teaching online and I'm actually making more revenue from yoga teaching than I was when I was teaching in person. Because I've been able to
Really?
connect to students from all over the world. I have a few private meditation
Yay.
clients. Yeah, I'm putting together a digital course. And it's great that it will be a source of income, but it's also just so creatively fulfilling. And I feel like that is a really important thing to
I'm
lean
so proud of
into.
you.
Yes, when the course is up, which is going to be called Vision Quest Breathwork, I will definitely give some discount to anybody who listens to this podcast, and chat about it more. But yeah, that
Can't
has
wait to
just
try
been
it.
a lesson in just like don't assume anything. Don't assume that just because you can't teach yoga in person doesn't mean that you won't find an outlet. Like anything
Mm,
is possible in the technological age.
mm,
So.
mm.
Yeah, we'll probably do another episode on side hustles because there's so many things you can do. There's so many things you can do from anywhere in the world. And I've read up a lot on ones that really anyone can start from drop shipping, which is one of the dirtier corners of the internet, but people make tons of money on drop shipping, which as I understand it is just like
Yeah,
buying
what is that?
stuff. It's like buying stuff that's housed in a warehouse and then selling it at a margin online, but you never actually have to interact with the merchandise. I don't know, it's weird. So, anyways, but
Yikes.
I have a friend who's making 5 figures monthly just doing that. Like, it's a hack.
No.
Totally, totally. Yeah. She
Shit.
was just like, I need cash quick. So, anyway, so we'll talk
Fair
about that
enough.
soon.
Love
Yeah.
it. Oh, thank you for these, Joanna. You are so good at them. And I think part of the money hacks, yes, I know for you it's a really fun game and you get a lot of joy out of it. But I also think it can be used in a way if you're just starting out saving and you feel really overwhelmed and you feel like you are using your whole paycheck. You're like, because especially if you live in a big city and your rent is so high, or your mortgage is so high, and you're like, there's no wiggle room. I think these can be a great way to be like, okay, cool, I got my $50 check back, from Rakuten. I'm going to put that in the saving investing pile because it's money I didn't plan for. So I'm not
Totally.
pre-spending it. Like I think some of these money hacks and some of these ways of getting money back is a good way to be like, okay, maybe you're maxing out your paycheck, maybe, which isn't probably true, but maybe you don't feel like there's anywhere there you can start saving or investing. So add these side hustles, even if they're just $20 a month, even if whatever, that can be how you start the saving and the investing. And then when you see growth from that, that for me is when I got more hooked. And then I'm like, oh, I want to do more and more and more of this. How can I make
Yeah,
that happen for myself? Yeah, so I'm all
totally.
for it. And listeners, we would love to hear your money hacks and different things you like doing. Like share the knowledge and then we'll put it on
Yeah.
the pod.
Yes,
Send us
totally.
emails at hello@loveanddividends with your hacks because we want to
Yes,
know
or
them all.
even voice memos and we'll play them. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good one. Good use of
Yeah.
technology. This is why I'm not on TikTok. Send us your TikToks. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I'll teach you the renegade dance, which is like the dance on TikTok.
Oh,
Um,
okay, perfect. Oh,
yeah.
good. I like
Okay,
to know
so
the dance. All right.
should we
Oh,
do
money wins.
money wins?
Yeah,
Yes.
money wins. Yeah, you
You
go first.
first.
Oh,
Jinx.
Oh, after you, no, after you.
We're so polite.
Yeah, this is nice. This is very cozy. Um, oh, you know what my money win is that you had mentioned previously, but in an episode that, we weren't we recorded before pandemic, so we couldn't release it, is the Benji sheets. Um, they're so good. So I saw Joanna wearing cargo pants and flip-flops, so I got cargo pants and flip-flops, a la Mean Girls.
I
Joanna
would
told me
never
about the
wear
sweet.
cargo pants. Oh my God.
It's a
No
Mean
cargo
Girls
pants.
reference.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
Mean people need to know about Benji sheets. But I want to give you the shout out. It was initially your money win. Um, so beautiful, Canadian made, Toronto based, softest things ever. I'm obsessed. I'm
Aren't
very
they
sad I
like
ever spent
velvety?
velvety. I got him in navy blue. I wish I'd gotten the duvet cover in the set. That's my only regret. Get the full set. And I'm sad I ever spent money on any other kind of sheets. They're
I
so
know.
nice and they're very affordable for the
Yeah.
quality you get. And they're beautiful. And I wanted to tell you about them, Joanna, because I totally copied you, but I don't think we've actually given them a shout out on the pod. And I think they are deserving of one.
Yes, they definitely are. BenjiSleep.ca. Such good sheets. Yes. Sleep on them every
Good
night.
sheet. Good
Yeah.
sheet, Maroki.
Yeah. Okay, so mine is something that we definitely did mention, but then didn't air this episode. But particularly relevant now is my smoothie delivery service from Revive
Oh
Superfood.
yeah. Are you still up
So
to that? You're
I'm
loving
still
it.
loving it, and it's
Wow.
also a money hack because I'm going to post a referral code that will give the best offer you can get, which is 55% off. I think if you just go to their website, they'll give you 50% off. If you go through my link, you get the best offer. And my favorites are Hint of Mint, which is like a chocolate mint,
Yum.
and
Yum.
Morning Mocha, which has cold brew coffee. And yeah, that's
Ooh,
my
I do love a cold
breakfast.
brew.
Yeah,
What's
and
the deal with them? Are they like superfood? Are they like vegan? What's their
they're
story?
superfood, they're vegan. So every month you go in and you pick, I get 12 a month and they have like pumpkin and chill. They have rise and chai. You pick
Pumpkin
your
and
flavors.
chill.
Yeah.
So
And
funny.
it's truly worth the expense for me because it's like the perfect amounts of what you need and they don't skimp. It's like makes like a very thick, frosty smoothie. It's the perfect amounts. They add superfoods like baobab and
Yum.
just like things that I'm not going to go out and
Yum
buy
yum.
individually. So yeah, that's my money win this week.
Great one. I'm glad you're still doing that. I'm glad it's still around. I guess it makes sense if it's shipped anyway.
Oh
It
yeah,
hasn't
all
gone
these
under.
meal delivery services are
I know
going
they're
through the
having a
roof.
moment.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
was
they're
gonna
having a
say
nice moment.
if you are subscribed to like Good Food or some of those, I've tried a bunch of them. You can also, get tons of free meals by referring your friends, and your friends can get free meals.
Yes.
So lean into that, and some of them are very good. I loved Good Food. I liked Chef's Plate, Miss Fresh. 6 out of 10. That's just my take.
Yeah, cool. I struggle with those because of I'm gluten-free celiac, so it's just hard not to have like wheat in the mix,
Hmm.
or cross-contamination, but there's more and more options. So, yeah, my favorite of those that a lot of people haven't necessarily heard of, maybe I should save it for another money one, is Athlete's Kitchen, which is right out of Roncy in Toronto. All their stuff is gluten-free, which is amazing. It has a lot of like paleo options or athletic options. So that one's my favorite. Those are more pre-made meals.
Hmm.
Um, but they're so delicious and fantastic. And I think lesser known. They don't give any promos, because their whole thing is they're like, we don't discount our food at any time, but you don't have to sign up you just for any more than sort of two meal orders. So you're
Yeah.
not on a recurring thing. So that's the
Yeah.
pro and con. Sick.
Nice.
Good one, Joanna. Enjoy your smoothie, girlfriend.
I do
And
every day. I wake up in my Benji sleep sheets and I make my smoothie and this is my pandemic life. Deal with it.
that's a nice life. That's nice. Yeah, I think everyone should be taking the time to make their life as optimal and comfortable as you can right now. I think that's the best use of your time because then you get to keep those benefits when we come out of this. Like,
Yeah.
as much as we want to go back to normal, I think we want to go hopefully step into a better world than the one we left.
Yeah, totally.
For some optimism.
As we hear the ambulance sirens going in the background.
There's full sirens.
Yeah.
And is everyone
Yeah.
loving, are you loving the 7:30 p.m. banging? Shout out to health workers in Toronto. Are you hearing that or partaking in that?
So
There's
it's
a lot of it in
only,
my neighborhood.
there's not a ton, but when I take a walk around the neighborhood, they're in like certain pockets that, yeah, they're still
Yes.
doing it.
Mine, it's so loud. I like it. I feel like I live in old-timey times where you'd hear the
Yeah.
church bells at noon and be like, it's noon, the church bells. Like, I feel like now that's my equivalent. At 7:30, I'm like, it must be 7:30.
Well, yeah,
Which I love. And I partake.
I was saying to Richard that it's like the type of thing that you can imagine in like 30 years. We're going to tell our kids about it. Like during this pandemic,
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
would stand on their balconies and bang pots and pans. And our
Yeah.
kids will just be like, that's so weird. That actually happened.
It was
like,
so
yeah, it
beautiful.
actually happened.
I think I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'll see you soon, my friend, with love and dividends.
Love and dividends.
Thank you so much for listening to the Love and Dividends podcast.
If you got value from this podcast, please share it with another woman who could benefit from the information that we shared.
And please consider rating us and leaving us a review on iTunes. It really helps with new podcasts.
If you have questions about finances and investing, have suggestions for future topics or guests, please let us know. You can shoot us a DM on Instagram, Love and Dividends, or you can send us an email at hello@loveanddividends.com.
With love and dividends.